Hi everyone, my name is Sarah from A Kiss at Midnight Reviews, and I know I have already talked about Gilmore Girls in another post, but I still have a lot to say, and I figured a video would be the best way to get it across. So, to get ready for this video, I grabbed my box of cornstarch, my oversized coffee mug, and then two different pairs of black heels. I wasn't sure which one Paris would wear, probably not these, and then this was the next thing. So, let's get going. First, I know what everyone is actually talking about. Are there going to be more episodes? So I actually don't think that there will be. As disappointing as that sounds, I think that this story has played its course. If anything, there might be a spin-off with Rory moving to her own place. If you want to go truly full circle, Rory has to move away from home. She has to move away from her mom and her grandmother and everyone that she knows and start over. And if she does that, maybe she'll end up in London with Logan. Maybe she'll end up somewhere near Hartford, somewhere near Stars Hollow, so she can go home. But I think she has officially run out of time, and I think she's grown too big for Stars Hollow. So we'll have to see where she goes. On top of that, Amy said that she always wanted those last four words to be the end of the series. I won't talk about those four words, we'll get to that later. But if this is the end of her series, then she really has no intention of going further. And I kind of agree with her. I really do think this has played its course. I am desperate to know what's going to happen with Rory's baby. Is it really Logan's dad? Is it the Wookiees? Okay, it's not the Wookiees, but it's kind of funny to think about. What's going to happen with Rory and Logan? Is he going to leave Odette? Are they going to end up more like Emily and Richard, where they met, they fell in love, he ditched the other girl he was with, and they lived happily ever after together? Or maybe they'll be a bit more like Lorelai and Christopher, where Chris just can't seem to get it together and Lorelai has to do it all on her own. We learned from the conversation with Rory and Christopher that he didn't really seem to try to fight for her. He didn't seem to think it was worth the argument. You know, Lorelai does have a very stubborn streak, but she has given in. She's given in for Luke. She's given in for Emily. She's given in before. So I think that was a big eye opener to Rory, unfortunately, because nobody wants to hear that. But I think even if she does confront Logan about this, I think she's going to maybe try and make it work with him. Maybe not as a relationship, but as a co-parenter. Co-parenter? Co-parents? So we'll have to see how that plays out. Okay, let's get back to the Wookiee and why it can't be his baby. Rory hooks up with the Wookiee in the spring, and then she doesn't tell her mom until fall that she's pregnant. We all know the relationship that Rory and Lorelai have. There's no way she would have waited that long. And at that point, she'd know she was pregnant. She would be maybe minimum 3 months pregnant. It happened in the spring, let's say maybe May, because people were wearing jackets. And she told her mom right before the Harvest Festival. So let's say that's September, October. That is way too long. There would be no question that she was pregnant at that point, and she might even be showing a little bit. So I do not think she would have waited that long. But if you'd like more proof, how about her drinking? When she was with Logan in the Life and Death Brigade, she had a glass of champagne. And yes, we do see her sip it. So I really don't think she was pregnant before that, or at least knew she was pregnant. At that point, the Life and Death Brigade was maybe 2 months, 1 to 2 months afterwards. She might have had some kind of inkling that she was pregnant. Obviously, she can't go off of her eating habits because she thinks tacos and tater tots together are a good idea when she's stone cold sober. But I guess the drinking is as close as we can get. Did you notice also we really don't see her with a coffee cup? Maybe once or twice, and she doesn't really drink it. We all know Alexis Bledel doesn't like coffee, so there's that idea. But when she's with Christopher in his office, he hands her a coffee, and I don't actually see her drink it. I watched it a couple times, and she just holds it, which is a pretty good sign that she's pregnant already. And I mean, she would know because the next day she's telling her mom that she's pregnant. So there's that idea. But you can let me know when you think she found out that she was pregnant because I rewatched it. I'm not really sure when she might find out she's pregnant. I wasn't able to pick up on that, so maybe you guys have a better idea. Okay, so let's talk about Paris and the entire reason I have the shoe with me. So, how about that scene in the bathroom at Chilton when she keeps it shut with her giant high heel? It's amazing. I was cheering. I'm sure in the background they're playing I Am Woman, Hear Me Roar. I mean, we're just going to ignore the fact that she was hiding in the bathroom from an old crush. But she did. She squared her shoulders, she walked back out, and she walked right by him like it was nothing. So good for you, Paris. You got it together. Now let's just get it together with your marriage. So I actually think Paris is pregnant. I think that's why she's having these emotional issues with Doyle. I think that might be why she is so upset and a little bit more ornery than normal. I think she's pregnant. And I think as soon as Doyle finds out, because yeah, there isn't a question that it's Doyle's child, I think once Doyle finds out, then they'll move to a bigger place with no stairs and they can be a happy family again. Because I think Paris will actually accept his new hipster writing vibe. I think maybe she just is so against change that she couldn't accept it. So, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Again, bravo, Paris. You looked fabulous. The haircut was great. And what a great example. You were not only a doctor or a lawyer, you were giving families hope. And I think this is a very big thing for Paris because she came from a family where this didn't exist. Her parents didn't want her. She was the porcelain doll that they took out to show all their friends at parties and then put down as soon as the hors d'oeuvres were passed. They didn't care if she was there, they just cared that she upheld their name. Now Paris is helping families who really want children have babies. And I just applaud Amy. That is a brilliant play. That is a brilliant move. Now Paris has a purpose and it's not scaring small children. I mean, I think that's a plus for her sometimes, but her main job isn't frightening people. So good for you. I was really happy to see Paris. I was happy with her evolution. And I think her kids do love her, not more than Doyle. I think that's a little crazy, but then again, it is Paris. Okay, we're gonna talk about Rory and Logan and that whole terrible relationship. Let's just say straight off the bat, let's stop with the slut shaming. There are tons of TV characters who think this is okay and do not receive this type of treatment. Serena Vanderwoodson from Gossip Girl, Blair from Gossip Girl, uh, Carrie Bradshaw and Samantha Jones from Sex and the City. All of these people were doing the wrong thing and they didn't get called out for any of it. So let's just stop with the slut shaming. I am not condoning her actions. I don't support cheating. I don't support the idea of Las Vegas where what happens here stays here. So let's just stop with the name calling, everybody. It's not nice. No, her actions are wrong. And I think it all actually stems back to her fear of commitment. Look back at when Dean first told her he loved her. She couldn't say it back. And why do you think that is? I think it's because she never really saw a stable relationship. How many times did Lorelai turn down an engagement? How many times did she have a heinous breakup with somebody? It's not like Christopher was any more stable. He was going to break up with Sherry until she had Gigi, and then he was back with Sherry and off with Sherry and with Lorelai, and it was a hot mess. It could also be the books she reads. Books have these grandiose ideas of love and romance and dramatic stories, and sometimes reality is hard pressed to live up to that. And she could have just been waiting for the big notebook moment, and it could never have happened for her. Who knows? But I think that's why Paul is so important. That's right, I think there's a reason for Paul, other than the joke. So I think Rory was with Paul because she couldn't commit to him. She didn't have to. She knew she wasn't going to be with him. She knew he wasn't the one. So why not be with him? And then she could convince herself that no, she is with Paul. She does not love Logan. She does not love Jess. She does not have feelings for anybody but Paul. That's why she's with Paul. I think it was all a lie to her head. I think it was about her settling for what was easy and what was simple. Let me have this boyfriend and then I'll just see Logan on the side. And, when Jess comes in, I won't think twice or anything like that. I think that was actually Paul's purpose. But who knows? Maybe this baby will be the kick in the butt that she needs. Maybe she'll feel the need for commitment. And if she does, I hope Logan is there. Personally, I think Logan would jump at the chance to be with her if she asked him. There are people who I've shared this opinion with who have shut me down. They don't believe that at all. They think that if he truly wanted to be with her, he would. And maybe that's true. We don't know, mostly because these are fictional characters. But I like to think that Logan would get it together for Rory because I think his love is different than Christopher's love. I think Christopher loved the idea of Lorelai and Rory and the idea of Sherry and Gigi and the idea of being in love and in this relationship. And then world happened and life happened and he realized it wasn't easy and it wasn't going to just be the simple fun thing that he was always involved with. And even though Logan does have similar uh, attributes and similar thoughts about this, I think he could actually do it. You know, he is probably marrying somebody that he doesn't really love because his parents want him to. He understands obligation, and who knows what would happen if this kind of commitment came to him. But that's neither here nor there. I saved my favorite thing to talk about until last, Miss Emily Gilmore. I loved how she went from this lost and unconsolable woman in jeans and a t-shirt to this historian talking about whale killings and harpoons and scaring little children with historical facts. She really changed. She kept a maid for more than a couple days. She didn't just keep the maid, but she let the maid's family come into her life, and instead of having this old house with nobody in it but her, she had this new, beautiful house with life and with a new generation. And she was helping people, and not just through her charitable work or by writing a check. She was truly changing somebody's life. Gypsy's life. No, I'm just kidding. We all know that Berta and Gypsy was the same actress, and good for her. It took you a double second to check. You didn't really notice straight away. So I think that's good acting. But back to Emily. I loved her response to Lorelai's story about her father when he picked her up from the mall after that horrible day when her boyfriend broke up with her. And the old Emily would have scolded Lorelai for wearing her shirt, and she would have scolded her for skipping school and taking her father away from work and all of these things. But the new Emily appreciated the story and appreciated what Lorelai had to say, and I really liked that. I also appreciated the nod to Dirty Dancing with the Keds. There was another nod, I don't know if any of you caught it, but Rory used to be in love with Jerry Orbach. Lorelai said that in the first episode, and obviously he played the dad, so there was that. I just really enjoyed seeing the evolution of Emily. I thought it was the strongest arc in the entire thing, and I just loved the person that she became. She recognized how important it was to have her name on the deed. She was no longer Mrs. Richard Gilmore. She was Mrs. Emily Gilmore. And I think a lot of people from her generation don't appreciate how big of a deal that is because they don't always have the opportunity to do that. And she did. And she became a stronger woman because of it. So I just think that was fantastic. Obviously, there is still tons to talk about. There are still opinions flying. There are going to be those of you who disagree with me, those who agree, those who think what I said was dumb or whatever it is. But I'd love to hear your opinions. I'd love to discuss it more with you. You can visit me at A Kiss at Midnight Reviews, or you can comment here. But I think the most important thing we learned from this revival is to make sure that you label your moving boxes so that you never have to look for your underwear.